everyone, and welcome back to the Existence podcast. It is episode 29, and we're in a special little recording place today, joined by fellow admin at DelltaDragon and our two glorious patrons, or two of our glorious patrons, iGalaxy and PurpleJay. My name is mcpeachpies, and today we are in the fact that you threw that food just then, and it went straight up, was hilarious. We are in the brand new recording studio here on the community Project Keystone server, created by one of our members, Battle Falcon. So thank you, Battle Falcon. This is very, very cozy. And we have also recently installed the Game Mode 4 chairs module, which allows us to create these fantastic chairs that we are comfortably sitting in. We have got a few things to talk about. Primarily, there's been a lot of kind of changes with the recent 1.16 snapshots, and also a big kind of thing happening in the Minecraft community at the moment is the RTX ray tracing shaders for Bedrock Edition. I'm not too familiar with the shaders. That's more kind of your area, Galaxy, would you say?
Kind of. I somewhat understand what's going on with them.
It's more than me.
Basically, the difference between the like traditional shaders and RTX is that I can pull up the page here. From what I understand, it's actually being like processed in real time using your the capabilities of your graphics card to the fullest.
To my understanding, you have to have an RTX card, though. Is that right?
It is. RTX card is required, and it only works on the Windows 10 beta at the moment.
Yeah, and to be honest, it probably only will work on the Windows 10 beta. Or do you think? I'm skeptical. I'm very skeptical about everything Minecraft does at the moment.
I think it's gonna come out of beta at some point, but it's only gonna stay on
Bedrock.
On Windows 10. Yeah, Windows 10 Bedrock. It's probably not gonna come to.
Could you even add it to Java because of the way that shaders work on Java, running not through like a direct kind of. Well, since Java's running through Java, if that makes sense, can you actually add that kind of shader ability through RTX? I guess
I'm not sure.
You can.
I mean, there's people that have like created quote unquote ray tracing shaders with Optifine on Java Edition, but from what I understand, it's completely different, and it's called like path tracing, and it's like not actually using the RTX cores on your graphics card.
What's the difference between path tracing and ray tracing? Is that not the same thing?
It's basically the same thing. Here, let me. No, they're like saying it's different. I'm trying to find the notes that say why it's different.
I understand the premise of like ray tracing,
but
what's that, Dragon?
Whatever company will always say it's different, it's better than the other people's, but basically, from what I can tell, they are virtually the same.
Oh, so is it kind of like, what is it, VSync versus like G-Sync or whatever?
Yeah, FreeSync versus
FreeSync,
G-Sync.
that's it. Because that's AMD is FreeSync?
Yeah, I'm using a FreeSync monitor with an NVIDIA graphics card, and it works just fine.
Oh, really?
So FreeSync is also open source and stuff, whereas G-Sync is closed source? Owned by NVIDIA.
Yeah, for context, because for anyone who's unaware, like VSync is like the direct setting that you'll see in like your Minecraft settings and stuff. And I guess it's the same principle with like FreeSync and stuff, where it just stops when you move your screen back and forwards really quickly, particularly like in Minecraft, you see the tearing.
Produce screen tearing.
Yeah, which I get notoriously bad screen tearing a lot of the time. But also, like, VSync in my Minecraft makes my whole computer slow down. Like, Minecraft will run fine, but my whole computer just grinds, basically. So I tend to not use it on Minecraft, unless I'm doing... The only time I really ever use VSync is when I'm doing, like, trailer projects or cinematics. Because then, like, using the cinematic camera and, like, movements and stuff, screen tearing is terrible. But it's really hard on my computer. But anyway, coming back to... ray tracing versus path tracing, was that what it was called?
Yeah, like the Sonic Aether's like path tracing shaders.
Sonic Aether's who's making
the same,
like
but
thousands of dollars.
Same, but apparently, yeah, he's making a lot of money by selling access to that right now. It looks pretty much the same, but in my opinion, Sonic Ether's shaders are better than the current RTX beta. But apparently, like behind the scenes, it works completely different.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, like, I've never really been one for shaders much anyway. Like, I have used them in the past, and I remember distinctively when I went from, what was it? I think it was when my old laptop broke or was getting fixed or something. So for Galaxy, I don't know if you were around then, but way back in the day, this is before Existence even started, there was a community UHC being organized for the Game Mode 4 community.
I was not there back then.
This was
I joined at the very end of Public Server 2 when Public Server 3 was only a few weeks away and nobody was on the server.
So that was kind of around, that was after Existence started, I think. But anyway, this UHC was ages ago, and this was before Existence was even an idea, and funny enough, Shukakani was one of the organizers for that. And I distinctly remember going from my MacBook to my mum's MacBook, which I was going to use to play on the UHC, and being amazed at the fact that I could run shaders at 20 frames.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible at the time for me. But even since then, like, occasionally I'd use shaders, and there was one pack, I don't think I have it still installed. Or do I? Oh yeah, I do. Called MineCloud shaders. And it's like the only pack I've ever really kind of liked. But even then, I always find shaders make things either too dark or too bright. And especially with the RTX one, for all the like test footage and demo footage and stuff I've seen from the beta, everything is just way too like overexposed and just way too bright.
Yeah, and it doesn't really like... Yeah, I agree.
Is that a fault with the like actual shaders though, or is that just how shaders look?
It looks different than a lot of the shaders that I've seen on Java Edition with Optifine.
I feel like what ray tracing is trying to do is bring that like movie cinematic experience to your home computer and just make it look good.
You sound like an ad. Bring that ray tracing cinematic experience to your home computer. No, to be like to your home personal computer.
Something that I've heard, and I kind of agree with it. Keep in mind, this is from one of the sponsored videos that I've seen on the RTX beta.
That's
but
another
somebody
topic.
said it said it looks like a lot like Minecraft animations that try and make everything look like it's not what it seems to be.
Like those Minecraft animations I sometimes see on Instagram where it's like two chickens fighting with swords.
Yes.
Sure. No, it's like those Minecraft. It's like those Minecraft music videos with like.
Yeah, I think I get what you mean.
Fallen Kingdom.
I love Fallen Kingdom. How dare you say that in vain? Oh, do I still have my glowing arrows equipped? Boop. Oh no!
Wait, where's his head?
And that is why you don't shoot people at point blank range. Oh, I picked up so much of your stuff, Jay. I'll just hold on to it until after the podcast.
Yeah, I've got the rest of it.
What was I saying? I completely lost my train of thought.
We were talking about Minecraft music videos, or like
right,
how it looks like.
So yeah, from my here's been like always been my problem with shaders, and this is from my perspective with my knowledge of things like dynamic range in particular. So when, and I wish it was adaptive. So you know how like if you have your phone, the phone's probably the best example because most things are all like automatic here, and you like point the camera at the sky, and it makes like everything kind of in the foreground like silhouetted because your camera is obviously trying to expose for the sky. And in like other way around, if you point your camera at like some buildings in a bright sky, the sky is going to be completely overexposed, but the buildings will be like lit properly. My problem with shaders is that it doesn't account for things like that. It doesn't really account for dynamic range. And I always find that like shadows are always just completely dark and things that are hit by the sun are always just completely bright.
It just doesn't feel realistic. It seems unnatural.
Yeah, and like I feel like one of the main reasons with shaders is that they're trying to like be realistic and try and make things seem more real. But I always feel like they just make everything like just feels really over the top.
It's kind of like the uncanny valley of lighting.
Yeah, that's probably a good way of putting it. I must say though, from what the demo footage, or the beta footage, I should say the beta footage, because that's what it is, isn't it, really? What was I going to say? Oh, the water tracing and reflections and stuff and underwater looks really cool. That's the one thing I have noticed. That and the colored lights.
Mm.
You right there, Jay? Welcome
Colored
back.
lights. Hello, thank you.
You put some armor on this time. But yeah, no, I see. I never will be able to properly run shaders on my laptop, and it doesn't bother me at all. Like, I'm more than happy to have full quality Minecraft settings because I prefer that. Like, I like the way the game looks, and it's part of what, like, I just find shaders over the top unless it's subtle.
Yeah, like
we,
have you ever played with
scrolling?
filters enhanced default shaders?
Not sure. I think I have that on here, actually. I do. Still does enhanced default. Let me enable it real quick on my in-game character and give you my live thoughts and feelings. And already my frames have halved. Oh gosh. How many frames am I getting right now? A smooth 14, 13 frames.
Ouch.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
see, I don't mind this. Like, it's not too bad. It keeps the normal kind of Minecraft lighting, but it adds shadows.
Yeah.
And I quite like that. The other kind of shaders that I do kind of like is one that I used at the start of Season 2. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but I had a depth of field shader.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh.
all it did was added a artificial depth of field. So if I was looking at we'll call it a microphone here in front of me, basically the game would recognize that pixel is right in front of me, and so everything else in the background will be blurred, and same with that, things really far off in the distance would be kind of hazy, and I really like that. The only problem is I could only kind of manage it at 30 frames, so there was a bit of a trade-off, and I think I did a little bit of polling and people kind of seemed to prefer the 60 frames, and also some people said it was making it was a bit nauseous for them to kind of watch. Have some fish, Jay. I'm not sure if that...
There we go. Yeah, I think the problem with the depth of field shaders is that it doesn't represent your actual depth of field. It represents the depth of field of your cursor in game, and it's not where you're actually looking.
Yeah, it was on the crosshair, essentially, dead center.
Yeah.
And I did a little bit customizing, in my actual shaders packs. I have only depth of field version 1.1, and then I have only depth of field version 1.1 edited. And I think what I might have done there, I think I did something to do with the minimum or distance blurring. That was essentially I think it was 50 blocks default, which was really short. Everything after 50 blocks was blurred. So I do like it when shaders give that option where they have heaps of configurable settings, because then it kind of allows you to make things a little bit more personalized and a little bit more kind of, I guess, to your liking. We are going a little bit off track here from the RTX. I'm not sure what RTX kind of adds in terms of customizability. Customizability? Is that a word?
Yeah. Customizability is the word, yeah. The only thing...
Extremely big word for me to be using.
The thing with RTX is that instead of creating separate shader packs to determine all the lighting and stuff, each block and item gets its own gets its own maps for lighting, lighting and reflectivity. Hold on.
Are we getting technical now?
Yeah, there's like a list of the. Here we go. RTX Texturing Guide. It's got a metallic map, sometimes called metalness, a emissive map,
Metalness?
roughness map, and then the normal/height map, which is like you could have stone sticking out of a block, or like books would be further back in it, or in a bookshelf or something.
Oh, I did see that actually. And I thought that was pretty cool. Like, I think it was like redstone blocks and like some other blocks where they have like slight layering to them.
Yeah, and basically each one of those textures, like each maps, determines how like RTX handles rendering those blocks.
Oh yeah, I'm just
And
looking
for
at
example,
it now.
you could have like red, like bright red neon blocks or something, or like cobblestone would have like different tiers of like kind of, it's kind of like bumpy or something.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just
Stuff
looking
like
at all the
that.
maps now on the NVIDIA site, and it's pretty interesting. Like, that's pretty cool, not gonna lie. Like, I would love that with, like, not as intense lighting, because that's the one thing I always kind of get put off by shaders, is how intense a lot of the light is, which I guess is kind of the appeal as well.
Yeah, it kind of makes everything look over the top and like extravagant.
I just grabbed a depth of field shaders, and it makes everything look very gloomy.
Gloomy.
Gloomy. It's so sad.
Yeah, it's an interesting effect, and that's why I find those ones kind of like, they take a bit of tweaking to kind of get to feel right.
The sunrise just came over the horizon.
I know, it's very pretty.
Beautiful.
It is a nice view from here. It's a shame. I tried so hard to get the actual perspective for the podcast to like show town, but it's a little bit awkward with the way that the building's set up. But hey, we get a nice sunset from the angle that the camera's at.
Yeah.
Which we can
Also,
turn and wave at, but we can't actually look and wave at. There's a slight... I don't know if it's a Minecraft bug, but we found that when you get into the chairs, which are just essentially invisible horses, you're
They're
basically...
pigs, I think.
Oh, they're pigs. Your player model is stuck the way that you got into the chair. So we can't turn out... We can turn our heads, but we can't look up and down. So Galaxy, what were you just doing?
Like if you turn all the way back, it like flips when you go over that, like some sort of invisible line.
Oh gosh, I really love how we're doing the podcast now. Ever since last time, how we're doing it like actually in game. Because I remember that was always a big thing. Specifically, I remember on season 2, we always would do it so that we weren't in game, so we could keep focused. Which makes a lot of sense because right now we're completely distracted. But I always remember a few people would basically just have chaos happening on the server, and that's kind of what happened last time, but at least now we're nice and safe here in the recording studio. It just makes it a little bit more interesting to those listening into it in audio form. But yeah, was there anything else kind of around the RTX shaders that we should bring up?
Well, one thing that I should mention is that it's still in beta, so quote-unquote changes may be made before the final product. So what you're seeing right now, it may look different when it's actually comes out of beta.
Yeah, mind you, Minecraft Dungeons was in beta, and like nothing changed at all while it was in beta. And yeah. That's another interesting thing we should maybe bring up quickly.
Well, I don't think they meant to like release updates for that other than like quick bug fixes so people could continue playing the game. I think that was more of a testing session so they could get feedback and make changes for the final game.
Okay, because I had multiple crashes with that game. A few of them were in the recordings I did, but it is a lot of fun. I just really hope that they fix... Well, I don't know if it's a fix or if it's just my computer being old, but the performance on my end was absolutely shocking. Also, huge shout out to Waffle Stick for giving me an access key. But yeah,
I never got to try the beta.
Jay, did you actually play it in the end? Because Jay, you got a code, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Y'all gave me a code. I didn't play to the end. I played until Pumpkin Pastures, you released on your second episode.
Oh, that was the end of the beta.
Oh, well, there you go.
How is your performance on your end? Because I don't know what your computer specs are like, but definitely better than mine.
A couple months ago, I upgraded my PC, so it's a beast. So like I was running things just fine, like 60 FPS, nice and smooth. So I don't know. It might just be my computer.
Yeah, I think so, because I know it uses the Unreal Engine, which my computer definitely won't handle very well. I mean, what am I running? An Intel Iris or Graphics Pro, something like that, some internal graphics card that is not well optimized. And yeah, I mean, I had to play at 720p to get 30 frames on the lowest settings.
Yeah.
And the other problem I had with it was I found that the graphics settings felt really limited. Like I feel like there was so many more things I could reduce, but there was no settings to do it.
And how was like the cooling of you're playing on a MacBook, right? Or are you playing on an actual Mac?
No, MacBook Pro 2015, 15-inch.
How was the cooling running for that?
So I have it propped. It's just the fans, and it's just propped up on a raised laptop stand. So it's got pretty decent airflow, but I mean,
it gets pretty loud though.
Yeah, loud and hot. So I mean, I've never claimed my laptop. I mean, I've seen it get up to 80 degrees sometimes, centigrade, which I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's hot. That's 20 degrees below boiling, so it cooks nice and warm. But hey, I mean, I've never expected my laptop to perform amazing with kind of high-end games, but even still, you would think they would have that running a little bit smoother on older machines, because I know Yog was having a few kind of performance problems as well, but it was in beta, so I'm kind of hoping that that'll get kind of fixed up, because I would really love to get the actual game, but the other problem with that is the Mac version of that's kind of completely gone off the radar, because that was the initial thing, is that they were going to be releasing on a Mac, like it said Windows, Mac, PlayStation, Xbox, all of that. But now, since
Linux support.
Yeah, rest in peace Linux support. Recently, they just a few months ago, it's just no, there was no mention of Mac release at all anymore. So I'm just fortunate enough that I would load it up boot camp and everything, but even still, it's kind of sad.
Time to buy a Windows PC.
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. That's always I on a, I guess, off-topic note, I do possibly intend on buying a new laptop later in the year, but it's probably going to be a MacBook.
Well, I mean, the newer ones aren't that bad. They're getting, better.
I'm waiting for, there's rumors that this coming keynote from Apple at the end of the year will be Apple releasing their mini LED panels, which is essentially their version of OLEDs, kind of, but slightly different.
For their laptop lineup? For their laptop lineup? Or
for everything. Laptops, iPads, iMacs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
nice.
It's been rumored for a little while, but I'm keeping an eye on that. Because, I mean, I really do need a better performing laptop, not necessarily to play Minecraft with, but I mean, that'd be a nice little side effect. But primarily for, post-production. I love these levers. Yeah, that's kind of an off-track note there, but hey, Minecraft Dungeons, on a positive note, is incredibly fun, in my opinion. I don't know how you found it, Jay.
I loved it. I can't wait for the full release. Galaxy, you have pre-ordered, right?
Yeah, I hit pre-ordered. Yeah. It's pre-installed on my machine, or it's preloaded, at least the current version of it. I just can't open it.
Wait, really?
It's completely locked down. You can't access anything.
So you can download it, but you can't play it.
Yeah.
Why would they even bother letting you download it?
I don't think it's an actual download. It's just I don't know how it works.
Ghost files or something, just to say that you have purchased it.
Yeah, probably.
Interesting. Because, I mean, you're probably just going to have to download updates and stuff anyway when it comes out.
In order to pre-order, you have to go to the Windows Store, so...
Yeah, I did hear that. I know a lot of people were having problems with the Windows Store.
I'm kind of bummed that they didn't use the launcher, because I really wanted to see that second section on the launcher get used.
Every time I've opened it, they said that they are working on adding that launcher support, so it might still come, but hey, this is... Well, Microsoft doing this, so they might just completely abandon it. Because I know they've abandoned things like that in the past.
Well,
I wish I played the beta when I had the chance. I got the email for the keys, and then you guys said something, the beta was ending. I'm like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, it ended on the 20th, but they extended it.
When does it actually end then? Is it already over?
I'm not sure. They never really gave another date. They just said that the beta was going to be extended, but they never said till when. Interesting.
I guess if I get the chance.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun to play. Like, even single player is fun, but I really enjoyed... first of all, I really enjoyed playing with Yogg on online co-op, but also the local co-op works really well as well. Just with... Like, I played with, 2 controllers, just USB controllers, and that was a lot of fun.
Cool.
So, definitely recommend.
Okay.
What are we going to talk about? What we're going to talk about 1.16?
Yeah, I am curious kind of what your thoughts are, because I know that I thought it was interesting that Mojang decided to do the little survey, because they don't really do that too often, do they?
Mm-mm.
I think that was more the Microsoft side.
I mean, it
of Mojang.
Really is the same thing now.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Honestly, some of the Java developers, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Mojang, but everything else is Microsoft, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
only the people who joined before the Microsoft merge I really consider to be completely part of Mojang.
Yeah, even some of the devs and the people who don't really associate much with the whole marketing side of things. I know there's a few devs who came on after the merger or whatever you want to call it, but they really focus specifically on development. But it's the whole marketing side of Minecraft that you can really see Microsoft is really having an effect on.
Yeah, I can see that.
But anyway, going back to where is it? So we have the Minecraft updates log in the Existence Discord server, existence.smp/Discord. What did they put there? It says, have you been exploring the snapshots and betas for upcoming Nether update? Let the Minecraft team know what you think of the features, and it's a Survey Monkey link. Yeah, interesting.
Did any of you guys actually fill that out?
Nope.
I didn't know.
I'm not opinionated enough on it, to be honest. I think it's cool, but I don't really have the, opinion to go and leave feedback on it.
I'm really biased towards the technical change, not technical changes, but changes in the most recent snapshot. They added support for the entire RGB spectrum to chat components. Yes. I really like that. I really like changes like that. I still like gameplay stuff too, but because I work on a server in my pastime, I really like changes like that allow me to change what users get to see. Stuff like that.
The key thing with that I'm excited about is that we'll be able to have accurate Patreon tag colors.
Oh yeah.
Because at the moment your guys' chat color is just red, whereas the Patreon color is more like a pinky orange.
Will that work for team colors? Because I only said chat components.
I thought that is a chat component. Or are you meaning JSON and Talvors and stuff like that?
Yes, stuff like that.
Ooh.
That's what chat components are.
Oh, surely they add it to team colors as well.
Hopefully, because that appears in chat. So it probably has support Maybe you'll just have to do some configuring.
Maybe. That was the only thing that I got out of that update message, to be honest. And I was like, oh, that's exciting. I don't care about anything else. But that is cool.
They were talking about how they like improved block storage for world saves and and the attribute command, that's going to be big for map makers.
Yes, and I've already that is because I think I can use that for things like the increased shulker shell drops and my fancy spectral arrows, which I do not currently. Oh, I'm using Jay's arrows that I have in my inventory. That's why. Yeah, I added that into the data pack for Keystone that makes spectral arrows have the glowing effect.
The attribute command will allow for basically custom potion effects without the need of putting an item in the player's inventory that would normally be required to apply attributes. But it only allows you to modify stuff like max health, knockback resistance, movement speed, stuff like that, though.
Yeah. But what's the difference between attributes and entity modify?
Attributes is as I said, it's I can pull up a list. Hold on. It's
Galaxy and his list pulling up.
Yeah, no, let me
technical genius.
Give.
You don't have a Cherry MX blue keyboard.
What?
Who? Galaxy. Kyle has a cherry blue keyboard, and you can hear his typing, and it's very, very bad.
Yeah, we had that last podcast. Kyle K-Saws was notoriously loud on his keyboard throughout the whole podcast. The worst part is, you kind of I found that during that podcast recording for episode 28, I kind of zoned out to his keyboard. But then when I was editing the podcast, I was like, my goodness, Kyle, this is so loud. Why did we let you do this?
Well, I have RTX voice enabled, so my keyboard should be drowned out.
Oh, very nice. I have a Logitech wireless keyboard that I do not know the model number or any technical details about it. How does that sound?
That sounds great. So for attribute modifiers, you can modify max health, follow range, which is how far away entities need to be, zombies.
The zombie that's running around the recording studio right now is tracking us.
Yes, great example. Thank you for being here, zombie. Knockback resistance, movement speed, attack damage, armor, which is your defense points, armor toughness, which is I think that's it. I don't know what the difference between armor and armor toughness is. I never understood.
Well, they added that in 1.9, I think. And I never really understood it. Yeah, my Jay's diamond leggings that I have +2 armor toughness and +6 armor.
I think it's a modifier on top of your defense points or something.
Something like that, yeah. Oh, actually, I think you're right, yeah. So, wearing diamond armor is tougher. I don't know.
Then there's attack speed and luck.
Can't you change all that with the data command anyway? With data command?
Can you?
I thought you could. With /data entity modify. That's how I use for my glowing spectral arrows and shulker shells increased.
No, that's potion effects, not
No. It's NBT.
NBT?
Yeah, the glowing arrow you see right in front of you there, that is NBT glowing tag. And the increased shulker shells, that's data entity modify, and it modifies the hand items or the armor items, I think.
Yeah, that's different. Attributes is it's not the values of a person's health. For example, something like that can be changed on the fly. It's modifiers that get applied to actions taken in game, moving or taking damage, for example, with armor.
So in short, it's a really technical command that I'm probably never going to understand.
Good way to put it.
Not really. It's kind of simple.
Honestly, my head's still stuck back in the days of 1.12 commands. World Border PvP was my last kind of real insight on how commands work, and that's how I still like code things. Like even you guys might have seen I've done a few data packs for a player called Kim and Jax, who I know back from NZ Network days, and she does like these real big like maps and stuff, and she works a lot on Scale 85's like Patreon servers, and like I made a data pack that essentially was like an Easter egg hunt, because we had that back on the NZ Network minigame server many years ago, and I took it from command blocks and turned it into a data pack, and it still used like real old school command systems. And honestly, like I've just completely left behind, because there's so many cool things you can do with commands now, but I'm never going to probably be able to learn them. Are we just passing like food and stuff around?
Yeah.
Oh dear. But
I think this chicken came from me.
coming back to the more kind of feature side, I'm honestly like, ever since they started adding like the new, what are they called, bastions?
Oh yeah, the piglin bastions.
And honestly, I think is it the basalt delta?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
When they added that biome to the Nether, I was like, this is the coolest update ever. Like, yes. I became like more excited than I was before. As soon as they added that biome, I'm like, this is the coolest thing that they've added. Because like here down in the South Island of New Zealand, we actually have like actual basalt, like kind of, what would you call it, formations like that. But in the overworld, we don't have a Nether in New Zealand. I don't know about you guys. But yeah, like there's actually I should post some pictures somewhere, because I've actually flown my drone as well above some basalt or whatever rock formations they are, and they're all like like pillars like that, and it's so cool, and I absolutely love that they added that to the game. Except I really wish it was in the overworld. Like that's the one thing. Like I wish they added really cool like biomes like that to the overworld, like mini biomes, but
kind of like an oasis area that would appear. Oh, like an example in the game right now would be the bamboo forest in the jungle.
Yeah, that's a good example, like, actually.
It's like a biome that can only spawn in like a certain category of biomes. Like, yeah,
yeah, like
an oasis in the desert or something.
Something like that. That would be pretty cool, because there already are sub biomes. Like, well, they even use like mountains. Like, what are we in at the moment? We are in we're just in normal mountains.
There's already sub biomes.
Mountains.
But like, there's wooded mountains and stuff.
Yeah,
it'd be like mountains. There's a lot of mountains.
An example of the oasis would be like a structure, but it still requires like procedural generation to look different every time. In order to fit in
they kind of have that now with like the jigsaw blocks and stuff that they use for structures.
Oh, like villages?
Yeah,
like
even
villages?
The bastions. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
The piglings. Are they piglings? Gee, there's so many different names that they've added that I'm gonna have to learn. Piglins. That those structures that they like live in, those are pretty cool. And I think that's cool that they've added new structures to the Nether as well, because I mean it was kind of boring that you could only kind of get like Nether fortresses and that was it. So now there's like a new kind of form of fortress, which I think is pretty cool. Only thing is, I was kind of disappointed when they initially added those structures to the game. You could get netherite armor in them. Now you can't.
I think they took that out.
Yeah, yep. They've basically nerfed it. I mean, I was thinking about last night. It kind of still makes sense, because you can get diamond armor, and then there's like netherite scraps as well. So there's still like I guess, because what is it? Is it just like one scrap, or is it an ingot? How does netherite work?
Four scraps make one ingot, and then that one ingot turns diamond gear into
netherite.
Into netherite, yeah.
And it keeps enchantments and the name.
Yep. Yeah.
And the durability, I think.
So I guess,
does it repair it, or does it keep the durability?
I feel like it repair it.
Because do you believe it repairs?
It's almost like an anvil, kind of. But
I'm kind of glad they nerfed it, because
what did I say in the existence chat the other day? Like that is it the smithing table?
It's a smithing table, yeah.
Yeah, they've made the smithing table like a glorified anvil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even the UI looks exactly like an anvil.
Yeah, that with the hammer.
Yeah, so it's like surely they could have done something a little bit more interesting.
I feel like it could be contained. It's like an anvil, but without the ability to rename or repair items.
Yeah. It's a little bit disappointing. I wish it did more.
Or just like don't have it and just include the netherite upgrade stuff in the anvil.
Yeah, I do like that they've given the smithing table some purpose because they said they were going to, but I feel like it should have done more. Like, what is a smithing table generally for? Because is it a villager that's a smithy?
Yeah, and they sell like tools, weapons, and armor. A smithing table is like for making armor and stuff, and like weapons and things.
Curious. Maybe they could have
It's like an anvil. Like an anvil is used for the same purpose.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? Maybe if they, I don't know, took some of the features away from the anvil and put them in the smithing table.
Like I don't know, the ability to repair items.
Maybe like repairing items could stay with the anvil, like repairing and all that kind of stuff. But then maybe renaming could be in the smithing table. Like, does that make sense? I don't know either. Like, where do you draw the line between like removing features from one thing to add them to another?
Like, you could use the smithing table to like upgrade items, because literally the tagline is upgrade gear, except you can only upgrade diamond gear to netherite gear at the moment.
So maybe if you use the smithing table to apply enchantments, whereas you used an anvil to combine items.
I like that.
Yeah, that you could do that.
That makes a little bit more sense. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a little bit disappointing that the smithing table has one thing and it basically just looks like an anvil. But oh well, they haven't added features to fletching tables yet, have they?
Nope, that's a one block that still doesn't have a purpose.
You think they would do something like, because it would make sense if that was like the way you made like say spectral arrows and like
tipped arrows.
Tipped arrows. I couldn't even think what they were called because nobody ever uses them.
Yeah.
Except a player called Hoz on Game Mode 4 recently was running around with a Cupid skin and shooting people with regeneration arrows. But like I've recently started using spectral arrows, as you've seen, and as like recently killed Jay with. And they're a lot of fun. Like especially considering we have the team colors and stuff. And I like the little addition I made to the data pack too. Oops, with the glowing arrows. I think that's a really cool thing. But I don't know. I just feel like tipped arrows was the one thing they added and kind of just got forgotten. I always meant to make a stray farm though. I still think we should. We should definitely make use of that. Jay, there's another project for you to do while you're like staying up all night every day.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he just finished upgrading my house for absolutely free.
Oh yeah, I need to go look at that. So yeah, Jay, ever since you honestly like went into lockdown and just stopped doing anything productive in the real world, town has been like completely revamped. Like there's been more development in town over the past like 3 months than there has in like the past year.
It stayed like stagnant for like an entire year.
Literally, like I was looking back at an old stream that I did, my first stream on Keystone, and town was so bare. But also, just a side note, I've just noticed on the podcast recording that there is a crafting table in the river way down in the distance, just sitting in the water.
Nice.
You won't be able to see it from here. It's on the other side of the mountain. I don't know. Me and Dragon have been talking recently, coming back to 1.16, and we're still, I don't think, have we come to a conclusion yet, Dragon, about whether the community server will start in vanilla or in paper?
We have not yet come to a conclusion, no.
I know we were briefly talking about it, and the main reason it came up is because I got really excited about 1.16. I was like, Dragon, I just want to play on 1.16, let's do it. But there's trade-offs.
It's always been just this back and forth about what we want to do. We haven't really came down to what we want to do to the server, so...
definitely, I mean, we will update to paper for sure. Like, that will be a thing. We will be on paper because there's a lot of like moderation plugins, and the online map are kind of our two things there, really. And also we do have like an analytics plugin and other little kind of bits and pieces, and like the tab list and stuff. There's a few kind of minor things that we rely on, but the specific things we really want with being on a paper server is that we can use specifically the world map plugin and moderation tools. But
I think we'll be able to live without a world map for like a month or two, well, like the time it takes for paper to update. But I don't know if you want to like start the server like completely open. Oh, there we go. There's the first person.
There it goes. There it goes.
So Dragon just got the couch potato advancement from game mode 4. What is that, sitting for an hour?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
yes.
if you, oh
Galaxy got it too.
I don't know if you want to start without the moderation tools, because from what I understand, it's going to be a lot more open to the community, and like anybody will be able to join, or just like trusted users.
No, so we talked about this a little bit in the last podcast. In fact, I talked about it about 3 times or 4 because I keep repeating myself in that podcast. And Kaney called me out on it so many times. Kaney was like, Patrick, you're saying the same thing again, but with different words. But yeah, essentially it's going to be pretty much the same principle as what we have now, where it's going to be whitelisted, but we definitely will be a bit more open to kind of like trusted users. So essentially, if we trust you, then we're more than happy to whitelist you. But that doesn't mean you can just join the server and be like, hey, let me on server, I play game. It's more like be active in the community and kind of interact with people and take part in kind of conversations and all that good stuff. And then kind of once we can trust you enough, and if you don't do suspicious things and talk about suspicious things, cool. I got the couch potato advancement as well as a side note. It's kind of like a way of us getting to know you first and then being like, okay, cool, want to come play with us. But definitely we want to be kind of as open as we can to really make it feel more of like a community server, but not in a way that it's a public server. That's why I'm kind of avoiding using the term public server.
Community server, like you have to be a member of the community in order to play.
Exactly, yeah. Because we have a lot of community members, which is kind of the main reason we started this entirely, because like we've moved away from the whole YouTube series system, because we've been going for literally over 4 years now, and we've built up a lot of community members in that time, mostly like from like past members like you guys. In fact, all 3 of you are past official members of the series. Even Galaxy, when you were like a wee lad and nobody could figure out if you were a lad or a laddess. It's going to be one of my favorite things of all time, because you wouldn't have known Galaxy, because we used to always be like, we couldn't figure it out, and we didn't want to like make you uncomfortable and question your gender, because obviously that's not like the complete, like you don't just go up to someone and be like, hey, what do you define yourself as? But that is one of my most distinct memories about you.
You
will
boy
always
or girl?
be that.
Yeah,
and then when
really
you did when you kind of grew up a little bit more, so to speak, and you did that HTML tutorial on your YouTube channel, and everyone thought you sounded exactly like Noah.
We don't talk about that. That's a private video. It's not even unlisted.
See, but the point being,
at least it's not a fishing farm.
True. That's a whole nother topic. But point being, like, there's so many people, like all 3 of you, even Delta, who joined on day 2 of season 1. Like, there's some people in the community who have been around for like over 4 years now. And having that official YouTube series like we did with season 3 kind of restricted the way that we could all interact. And that's why we started Keystone, was kind of to allow us to all play together again. But as we kind of moved away from the official series, and kind of Keystone started getting a little bit more activity and a few more people interested, is really where we made the decision to really put our effort into a kind of community server and get even more members of the community on here. But 1.16 is going to be really the turning point of that. That was our main decision. We were like, okay, people are still playing on Keystone. We'll just wait for 1.16 and then we'll restart with a new community server. And coming back to the whole point of this ramble, 1.16 looks like really, really cool in my opinion. There's not much in the overworld, is there?
It's the best update, I think, in a long time. I think when they revamped the entire ocean, there wasn't enough room there to like expand and add new features because like the ocean is a real place. The Nether isn't a real place. They can make up features.
That's a good point. Yeah, because like the only one I can kind of think in comparison is 1.9 in relation to how they revamped like another dimension.
Speaking of 1.9, I'd really like to see some end biomes, some more end biomes.
I was thinking the exact thing.
Yes,
purple grass would be amazing.
Jay has joined the chat.
I need all the purple.
I'd like to see a better representation of purple in Minecraft blocks.
No, I agree. I always felt I'd never liked the color of purple. Purple?
Yeah,
has my brain broken? Is that what the block's called?
Yeah, no, that's
okay. It didn't sound right. But I always thought that should be darker.
It feels too like washed out.
Yeah. Actually, I need to wrap up development on my resource pack update because Qbit and Noah have kind of like both been like, Peach, we don't want to work on this anymore. It's boring. We want to go do more fun things. I'm like, you guys said you would do it. And to be fair, Qbit has done an amazing job at the UI, but now like I noticed the other day that the advancement UI is not updated, and he was like, Peach, I kind of don't care anymore. And I was like, that's fine, I understand. So maybe I'll like while I'm wrapping up completion on that, I think I definitely wouldn't mind doing some things like Purpa, but that's off the topic and I'm terrible at doing this. Point being, I definitely agree. Some more kind of just even more like subtle things, like a few more biomes or different terrain generation in the end. Here's a question for you. Oh, Dragon, what were you?
Sorry,
go ahead. No, please, after you.
Thank you. I kind of feel as though ever since Microsoft has bought Mojang and now they own Minecraft, they kind of try and make it this realistic game, and it's not meant to be realistic. Minecraft, the creepers aren't in real life. Like ever since the game has been in production, since like alpha, it's never really been about realism. It's been about
I suppose
fun, and I feel like Microsoft is trying to make it that.
I feel like the ocean update was a good representation of that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, and I did like how they used a lot of those elements as like an educational thing as well. Like there was a lot of kind of awareness and stuff raised around kind of coral reefs and reefs.
Oh yeah, there was like
and turtles.
They reached out to. Sorry.
One thing I kind of got really bored of quickly though was how much of a big deal they made about the pandas. When they added the pandas in 1.14, they're like, we went all the way to China and recorded the panda noises. Well, I was like, I don't care. Like, I haven't even thought about pandas since like the first episode on season 3. Like, pandas have had nothing to do with my Minecraft experience, like, at all since they were added.
I kind of feel like pandas weren't originally planned to be in 1.14. And 1.14 was supposed to be focused around villages. But then, like, it's kind of like a repeat of the 1.13 situation where they wanted to bring more education to the update.
Maybe. I feel like it would have been cool. I mean, it made sense because they added, like, bamboo forests and stuff, which I thought was pretty cool. But remember a few years ago, Jeb, like, teased that they were going to be adding more bears? And they've added, like, polar bears, and now they've added panda bears. But, like, I was really excited for, like, brown bears and stuff to spawn in, like, mountains or, like, taiga biomes and stuff.
Yes, 1.10, the most feature-packed update.
What was it called? The the freezer burn or frost burn or something.
Frostburn update.
What? Like, I felt like that was just like, it was like this tiny addition to 1.9. Like, there was, I mean, what did it add?
We haven't
It
had
added
an
like,
update in a while.
what was the,
like,
wait, what was the burn aspect
magma.
of that? Oh, magma, that's right.
I think magma, like that. small
Frostwalker, I
addition
think,
to
was added.
Here, I'll
Wait,
look
what
it up.
Frostwalker was
Frostwalker.
1.9.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I should
It was
remember
polar
'cause-
bears and magma. That was the two big features: polar bears and magma blocks.
and strays. Oh, and husks.
I
Oh, yeah.
remember
Strays and
on
Husks.
Existence
See, that
season 1.
That
We
not
were the
episode.
first people.
True. That's right. We made a big. That's right. I forgot I did that on season 1. I added like a.
Yeah.
I did like a competition to basically encourage people to make videos, and me and Dragon were like the first people to find all the new features. But yeah, I feel like that
One of
update
my
1.10
videos.
could have been so much bigger. But
Yeah,
instead they had like 4 things.
cough, end biomes.
Yeah, because I played Snapshot Survival. My Snapshot Survival series was all the way up until 1.12. So I do
would-
remember most of those features.
It would be so cool to have like more purple plants. And
Yeah. Like, it makes sense as well. Because the end's so barren, so like to have like kind of like random like plants and like growths and even just like formations, different like terrain formations would be really cool.
Yeah, and
Kinda
like
like
some
an
sort
ender
of some kind of like mineral that's unique to the end or something, kind of like
Like an
netherite.
ore? Some sort of ore
More
would be
like-
cool.
More like a it's not more like a metal like netherite. I'd feel like in the end it'd be like a mineral like diamonds or
Oh,
emeralds.
like a gem or something?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, that would be cool. Maybe if it was like, I don't know, I'm trying to think what it could be, like what, some sort of item that you could use to like craft something else. I'm not sure. I honestly am unsure what I would add, but I think that
End
might be
puffs
something.
coming to vanilla Minecraft.
Ender puffs.
Yeah,
We've
from
talked a lot
Game
about
Mode 4.
from Game Mode 4. We've talked a lot about Game Mode 4 on this podcast. Ender
Would
puffs,
those
what
be
do they
like
do? You
cheese
just hold
puffs?
them and they make you float. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the moon is setting, the sun is rising. So I think this might be a good opportunity to wrap up. We've really kind of done a good length podcast this time. Lots of stuff talked about, which is good because it means it saves me from repeating myself multiple times like I did last time. But yeah, did anyone have any kind of...
You're repeating yourself.
Shh, quiet. Nobody knows
Okay.
yet. Did anyone have any kind of other little things they wanted to mention about 1.16? I think there's definitely room for a whole kind of another conversation about 1.16 because we kind of intended to talk about it a little bit more, but talked a little bit more about RTX shaders and Minecraft dungeons.
Microsoft.
Oh well, if we are all happy then, I'd like to thank you guys for all joining me. Thank you, ItsPurpleJay, iGalaxy, and DelltaDragon. And as well, I'd quickly like to thank our patrons, including you three. Thanks to ACG, Dashlab, Chrismon, I Need Help, C Sandman, you DelltaDragon, you iGalaxy, you PurpleJay, all 3 of you in a row here on my list. Well done. The Mundane, Pineapple_123, Sugarcaney, TC Midnight, Torbray, and Waffle Stick. Thank you guys all so much. It is because of your support that we're able to run both the server and our Patreon server, and just looking forward to the future of our community server. It is all thanks to you patrons for supporting everything we do. But yeah, so again, thank you to ItsPurpleJay, iGalaxy, and DelltaDragon. Thanks guys all for joining me. My name has been mcpeachpies, and this has been episode 29. What does the sign say? I can't read it.
29.
Wrote on the wall.
Episode 29 of the Existence SMP podcast. We will catch you all next episode. Goodbye.
Bye.